Hello, it's like here to show you the history art is history art as so far as you got right here is a coloring right here of you say a bridge, and it's like it based on this like it is the bridge St. Charles Highway bridge 115 is like 115 so far as the highway 115 is of course whenever I was a kid that I was always wondered about the bridge for whatever reason, because I think it's like this bridge right here, of course, which more or less is no longer standing, is they had demolished it back in 1993 it was that that they put it say so far as history they went ahead and put they took it down, demolished it back in 1993, and they had closed it off within about I think it was 10 years within advance, because I guess it's like so far with the decisions for what they want to do with the bridge. But so far with the artwork coloring, so far with history art, is this what the way I drew the picture, which which I drew it from a black and white photo, and of course this right here would pretty much would be as like so far as the history goes, is that I went ahead and included the railroad, so far with the railroad track right here, and those of all of us here ever wonder about it's like it could be the Mississippi River or the Merrimack River, whatever it is, and knowing about the history about the riverfront, or it could be the lakes or whatever you call it, that so far as knowing about the history of what was standing, and then what the actual architecture say is the building structure was back those couple of years ago. And way I think about it is that so far with the railroad is that you have it to where this the railroad right here, which you come up with many names for, is that one type of railroad which I think that the railroad was used for so far as hauling freight, and then along with passengers it would take transport so far with passengers. But I think back in that 1876, 75 it is, maybe 1876 or 77, but back in like the early 1800s, that they would use it for like freight access, and so with the freight that they would haul freight, and then like the coals, and along with the lumber, whatever you call it, and different types of stuff, and the way I think about it is that I think that they would run from Illinois, from Denver, Colorado, or to Illinois, and into the St. Louis area. Is that the way this railroad service would work? Is it would depart within the 200 miles range just to run service, and of course more likely that the service, according to my understanding, that 1989 is about around the time that it was out of commission, that the railroad service had shut down, and but basically you have it right here. Is you got this bridge right here. You start out with this say color, a little bit of color, just to kind of give you an idea so far as with the photos, to kind of bring out maybe a little bit of detail. But you have it to where that with the bridge is you have like a line of cars that would it's like I think it was a two-lane highway bridge that would drive on the bridge. You got right here, you got the columns. Of course, this is say so far with black and white photo is that this art right here. That way, the way I drew this was basically is working with just similar colors, like a light gray, and then a light brown type marker, and drawing in details from there. And then along right here you got the riverboat, but you got the line of cars right there, and and then see here, zoom in here, but you got the line of cars, and then maybe a few trucks. I don't know if a few trucks would use this bridge to for wherever they were going, and then along with pedestrians. If I remember right, that there used to be like a sidewalk on the side of the bridge where people could walk, and for their types of transportation. But Of course, the photos that I was looking at, of course, was taken at, I think it was at 1916, if I remember right. That was the right year, 1916 or maybe 1917, from whenever it was taken. Of course, from the construction and then along with the building of the bridge. But then, of course, they say that it was closed down more likely in 1980, 1987, 1988, whenever they closed it down due to it's like a defective infrastructure it is. But you have it to where you got the bridge right here, and then you got the Missouri River front. But so far as it's like history like this, if you look at it, is that the way I drew this type of history is that you begin to wonder, like Google Earth would have that to where you be able to look up images, which I'm sure there is a way you can look up images of what a city or town used to look like back those several decades ago, back in the early 1900s, back to 1800s, about what it looked like. But it's like so far as is it maybe to be able to draw out your best memory of what it looked like. That I don't even know if they had river boats back then. I'm sure they may have had, and then maybe not as large. But you had a river boat right there, because I remember the town where I grew up in, so for St. Charles, Missouri, that they had river boats that they would go around, and they would sail around along the boats to the riverfront. But I remember whenever I was driving over the bridge, which I'm sure a lot of people have experienced driving over a bridge, whenever you're driving over it, going at about 40 or 50, 60 mile an hour, that a lot of times is that you pass through it pretty quickly to the point to where it seems like it's not so long. Of course, with the bridge, I guess it's measured at least by I don't know, 450 50 feet, something like that, square, maybe more than that, maybe about 500 square feet across, the river, wherever it was built, to cross the river at. But you have it to where you look at this long bridge, and by the time you drive over it, it's like, the way you drive over it, it's almost like maybe subway tracks, something like. But there you have it. So far with history, art is talking about so far as the good memories of what you remember from your hometown, along with the history, I should say, of the old buildings and railroad tracks that they used to use. But so far with the coloring and the details about the train, and then along with the railroad bridge, and along with the details of the sky and the air. But so far with the railroad bridge, so far with the railroad track, and then along with the bridge, which they may have had a railroad bridge back there as well. But so far with history and history art coloring.